Right, we're starting again. I've had comments that the flat's haunted. Don't tell me that. Right, I can see stuff now. I don't know what has gone on there. I think we're alive. Yeah, this all went a bit tits up. I can't lie, guys. That wasn't part of the plan. We'll run it back. We'll wait for you all to hop in. We have got it going, I think. Yeah, that was... It's always the way, always tech difficulties, little gremlins. I thought I finally pulled, the rabbit out of the hat, sorted the newsletter out, got the stream going, and then, of course, everything just dramatically decides to implode on me. I will try and put a link in the old chat if anyone was watching that stream. Even the logo's messed. I don't even know how to change the logo. This is all gone very, very wrong. It has not gone well at all, is it? But thank you for the patience. I promise you it won't be like this forever. That's so infuriating. Oh, this is all right, we'll wait for you to come through. Ron's in. Crazy. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me now? Are we all good? Take 83. Are we all set? I think I may have made a slight boo-boo with the stream, but is your flat haunted? Don't get me started. If the flat's haunted, this isn't the way for me to find out in the middle of a live stream on the Eagles chat. What's the haunted thing? What have I missed with the haunted flat? Have I missed something there? I can't believe I've just butchered that link. I spent about half an hour prepping a newsletter to get it sent out just as we go live, and then this stream decides to implode because I'm 30 seconds late. You cannot write it. But wait, we got the main crew here, right? We've got the main guys here. That's all that matters to me. All the boys are in. Thank you for, again, being so patient. I don't know what exactly went on with that stream. I'm going to try and give me 10 minutes and I will... No, we're fine. We can roll with this. It's all right. We'll roll with it. We'll just start again. Matt's here. Kay's enjoying himself. This is like prime Liam on Twitch content. This is, if you wanted old LJ back streaming till the early hours of the morning, this is about as good as it gets with tech gremlins going everywhere. All I'll ask of you guys right now is if you could like the stream, because there are no tags, there's no thumbnail, everything has gone massively wrong. There is no way this is going to get anywhere. I will tweet out the new link. You're right. That has gone. That's a good idea, isn't it? Should have thought of that one, Matt. But, right. Well, I'll roll the intro. Okay. We'll get some people in and we'll start again. And if you're here, you weren't here. This is our little secret. And we'll go from the top. We'll pretend it never happened. Everything's fine. I can't even find the video anymore. I don't know where that's gone. There we go. Right. I'll be back in a minute. Right, we've just sent the link out just in time. Let's just go with it. We'll have an intimate one. Mad Chat is a little slow, but what can you do? Oh, it's a little show. Mad Chat is a little show. It's a little show. We can have a little show. We can have a little intimate setting because I've bought. The worst thing is everything was flying. We had like a billion zillion people in the first stream. I just couldn't see anything. I can see my face on my own screen, and that's enough to drive me insane. Maybe it is haunted. Maybe it was a demon. Who knows? But look. We're in. Let's talk about all things Eagles, because that's what we're here to do. As much as the tech gremlins are annoying, we've got the guys in. The main call, the people we do this for are here, and that is frankly all that matters to me. So let's get things going before I drive myself inside. I'm so infuriated with that. That is absolutely annoying. But the game's the game. What can you do? Mad Chat. I thought the Mad Chatter is a viewer. I was going to say, yeah, he's our favourite. He's not here today. But he's probably in the other stream, bless him, just sat waiting, and I've just... ruined that. I am livid. I am absolutely livid with that, but it's okay. Look, we're here. We're moving on. Let's get talking about the Eagles then. Something has come to my attention, gentlemen, about the Eagles and the Cowboys. If you've been on Twitter the past few days, I'm sure you've probably seen it all across your timeline about it's just Eagles and Cowboys fans just at each other's throats constantly. Jalen Hurts this, Dak Prescott and that, Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson, and the Eagles have got new court, and it's just endless. And I understand like talk shows facilitate this because look, I own a sports website. I did own a sports website. I understand the need to drum up stories to get eyes on, to have clicks. Right? That makes complete sense. Where I think personally it should stop is like just over dramatizing and people getting overly invested in having to pick a side. Like the Eagles and Cowboys aren't playing each other for a long time. We're not going to find an answer, a definitive answer to this question for quite some time. What I think has to be done is evaluating the lay of the land, though. If we're going to do this, if we're going to look at the Eagles and Cowboys and say, is one better than the other or whatever it is, we have to add context. So let's just take a look at some basic stats, all right, from the first 2 weeks. Basic stats. This isn't your deep analytics. This isn't PFFs, yards run left when the wind blows 2 degrees to the right. This isn't any of that. This is just basic down the middle stuff so we can get a rough idea of how the teams are functioning. Main draw you can see straight away is that the Cowboys are very, very good defensively. Also, it seems, until we add context, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. What I find very, very interesting is that Dak Prescott is getting his flowers for some reason. He is getting all of this attention and love. And I think it genuinely comes from a place of that it's the first time, weirdly, he hasn't had weapons at his disposal the level of which we've seen in recent years. Like, Amari Cooper's not there anymore, okay? That offense has changed drastically. Ezekiel Elliott isn't the same. Tony Pollard's great, but whatever. Like, the tight ends have changed. Like, it's just not the Dallas offense we've come to, or not know and love, but know and despise, if you will. So there always seems to be this, growing argument with quarterbacks where if they have no help, it's, oh my God, imagine what this quarterback would do if he had help. And if he does have help, he's only good because of the talent around him. And you see that with Jalen Hurts, right? You even see it now in this debate. It's like, oh, if Dak had Devontae Smith, if Dak had Dallas Goedert, and it's like you see it all the time. But what I find genuinely stunning is that the Eagles through 2 weeks with new coordinators, Jalen Hurts very clearly being is it fair to say some of his worst football? And that's not meant as an insult. That is meant in the grandest of compliments that he just hasn't been very good. And that's fine because he's not very good. He's still better than most of the league. Okay, if we fair to say that, I think we're at a good playing field. So the Eagles ranked 29th in passing yards. Okay, the Cowboys and this heroic Dak Prescott that is apparently marauding the NFL ranked 20th. It's not like there is a significant jump, is there? It's not like you're going from, oh my God, Dak Prescott is Josh Allen, he's Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. That's still pathetic. That's still really bad. If we can all agree, right? They're yeah, the Eagles have sucked, but you can't look down from your ivory tower in Dallas and then, it's just be like, ha, that sucks. And then realise, we're only 20th. Rushing, the same basic premise is both teams have struggled to move the rock through the air. They've run the ball first. They're a run-heavy team. Yards per pass, the ball isn't going very far, but the Eagles have an edge. They're both scoring touchdowns per game, and they're not turning the ball over a lot. So it's relatively conservative, run-first offenses. I don't see why there needs to be a rule in the first place. Where there is a discrepancy through 2 games is the fact that Dallas fans specifically or talk show hosts are going very on and on about how the Dallas Cowboys are rampant defensively and how Micah Parsons is him and X, Y, and Z. And that's brilliant. That is absolutely lovely. But if we're being honest, Zach Wilson turned it over 3 times. That contributes to the fact, why they were doing so well in interceptions. Daniel Jones had a horrific game. The Giants had a horrific game. They got 40 bombed. They didn't even do anything in the first game. Anything of interest. So, if you've got to judge, any team that pitches a shutout, really, is going to look good defensively for at least a month. Because all the averages are skewed. And then you face Zach Wilson's Jets, who turns it over 3 times, and it's Zach Wilson. There's not a lot to go off here. We haven't seen what this Cowboys offense can do. We haven't seen what this Cowboys defense can do. But the Cowboys offense has got far more concerns than the Cowboys defense has strengths. The Eagles' concerns are the fact that all right, Hurts hasn't looked great. The offense hasn't been particularly well oiled, if you will. And defensively, they've struggled getting to the quarterback. That's about it. That is about it, I would say. Right? Like, so I really don't get where this whole the Cowboys are winning the ship is coming from. Like, I've not seen anything remotely conclusive to even assume they're going to get to the NFC Championship, to even assume they're going to get out of the NFC East. Like, I don't know where people are on either side are getting the vibe about this Cowboys team. They don't look special. They look like borderline XFL talents on offense. You're still throwing routes underneath. You're still relying on Yak. You're still relying on Tony Pollard. There's not a lot of reason for optimism about Dak Prescott. I still don't think. The Eagles can be afforded teething problems when you face the Vikings in week 2. You survive a week 1 game they could have very easily lost against one of the most renowned coaches of all time at home when Tom Brady's got his retirement night in a revenge spot because they're still bitter about 2017. Like, there are a lot more reasons for this Eagles team to go 0-2 than there were for the Cowboys. And don't get me wrong, the Cowboys have beaten teams they should have beaten. Like, if we're being honest, the Eagles should have displaced the Patriots and they should have displaced the Vikings in similar ways to what the Cowboys have done through their first 2 weeks. But they haven't, but they've won. All that matters is that both teams are 2-0 right now, frankly. That is genuinely all that matters. But I do not find any reason for dramatic optimism, if you want to call it that, about the Cowboys. It's easier for me, and I know there's obviously a bias here because I cover the damn team, but to be a bit more bullish about the Eagles because while the defensive line sucked and they haven't got the sacks they need, the pressure's been there. They've been getting to the quarterback. They've been causing chaos. I mean, Nolan Smith looked very underwhelming, I would say, last week, but he looked better in week 1. And Jalen Carter could well be Defensive Player of the Year if he continues on this trajectory. So I just don't really get where this national spotlight on the Eagles and the Cowboys and like the Cowboys are better than the Eagles and whoever it was saying it and Joy Taylor's back in the spotlight. And I just don't get where those angles are in because like we're not looking at a Dallas team that's blown out anyone remotely competent yet. Like they've got a fair challenge in week 3 coming up. That will be interesting. The Eagles have got past the Vikings and the best receiver in the NFL, one of the best defensive players in the NFL in Matt Judon, and a coach who can nullify anyone's strengths. So yes, there are reasons to be concerned about the Eagles, but let's not pretend like the Cowboys have marched through the Chiefs and the Bills and the Bengals here, because they haven't. It's been borderline XFL. Like, there is no reason to be, very excited about the Cowboys. So let's see what you guys are saying. I'm glad we've actually got some of you here after the traumatic opening to this show. Thank you for being so patient with me. Cowboys were the best a decade before you were born. True. I don't ever remember the Cowboys being good. As good as I remember the Cowboys being is like Tony Romo, maybe like 2009, 2010-ish, like that sort of playoff-y, choke in the playoffs era. When you borrow Hurts or Allen Mahomes, you have a lot of houses to fill. It gives Hurts a few weeks. Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's not like the good teams are dominating right now. That's what the Eagles have going for them. That's the comment we like. That took me at least 38 seconds, that graphic, and I'm glad it's getting its flowers now. Like, forget Dak Prescott getting his flowers. My graphics should get flowers. Believe me, Kay, right? There are plenty more where that came from. All right, I am loaded with them. This is why I'm so annoyed. I loaded this stream with pretty graphics, with what I think are pretty fun takes and discussion points, and I butchered the whole thing by having the wrong link. And then now there's no thumbnail, there's no tags. It's all gone wrong. So again, if you are new, if you could like the video just to make up for my incompetence, it would be massively appreciated. Thank you very much. Zach Wilson's Trey Lance. That is a disservice to Trey Lance. I will admit that. Yeah, the D-line is... I'm not sure if it's underachieving in the way that, like... Because realistically, if we look at the run defense and we go back to this graphic, like... I didn't put it on there. Never mind. Again, typical Liam. This has been a fantastic show so far. Well done, Liam. Round of applause for the world's best producer. Maybe I should get a producer. Anyway, run defense isn't so much of an issue. I can assure you, you're not on the graphic. It's just sacks. I think, again, it doesn't help that you go from a 70 sack season to a year where you lose Javon Hargrave. You replace it with a rookie. You've got Fletcher Cox now, a rotational guy. Jordan Davis isn't a pass rusher by nature, although he is improving rapidly. And you're going against offenses that now, because of how dominant that defensive line is, they're trying to nullify it. It's not like it's like Justin Jefferson and his man on man. And, you know, if you can blanket Jefferson, he's not going to catch anything. Realistically, you could have the game of your life as a defensive tackle. You could have the game of a decade as a defensive end. And if the ball is coming out before you get there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can make all the cakes you want at the bakery. If no one buys them, no one's going to know how good they are, right? Except for the chef and that one old guy that continues to buy it on a Wednesday because it's his brunch. That's about it, right? So if you've got Reddick, Carter, Davis just causing consistent havoc and the ball is out by the time they get in there, it's null and void. And you're going to go, the defensive line's struggling, the defensive lines are getting sacks and they should be getting better. The defense is doing fine, in my opinion. Like, considering in week 2, this is the other thing we've got to bear in mind. The Eagles have limped past these games. They were in week 2 without Reed Blankenship, their starting safety, without their starting boundary corner, without their starting Mike linebacker. They may get 2 of those pieces back. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, tongue crossed, if all goes well. But there's no guarantee of that, okay? The Cowboys have got scot-free. And it's like, there is no comparison between these two teams. There is a reason that the Eagles are 5-point favourites over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. The Bucs are 2-0. They've looked very good. They've been one of the NFC's pleasant surprises through the opening 2 weeks of the season. I, for one, didn't expect Baker Mayfield to look that good. Maybe that's on me because he kind of looked good wherever he's gone. Not great, but he's looked top 15-ish level quarterback, I'd say. Carolina, when he was that, he flashed. And he's now got 2 great receivers, a nice running back room, and a great defense. Like, you don't need an elite quarterback to win, especially in the NFC. As long as you've got a good defensive line, I would say the Bucs have that. It's going to be a stiff challenge. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where the Eagles' defensive line will not get its flowers because it's not going to get home. They've also suffered injuries. The Cowboys have beaten up Zach Wilson, which is like taking candy from a child. And they've got past the Giants, who were half asleep for 85% of the game. In fact, the Giants were 85% asleep, through 85% of 2 games. It wasn't until the third quarter against the Cardinals where someone smacked Brian DeBole over his head and he woke up and realized, I meant to be coaching and not playing Scrabble. And they somehow made Jonathan Gannon look like the ogre that he is. But until then, the Giants were done. The season was over for 1.5 games. The Giants were absolutely mudded. So you cannot look at that Cowboys team and just because, hey, look, this is my November, okay? I'll get the graphic up again one more time. I'm a little bit annoyed. I can't lie, K1. The Cowboys logo is a little bit off center. It was in a hurry, but your name covers it, so you can all pretend that's fine. But you cannot take such a small sample size as gospel, go on a national TV show and debate that the Cowboys are a Super Bowl team. And I just had to spend, it should have been 20 minutes. I ended up butchering the show, as we know. But there is just no way that should be a logical debate at this point in the season. Not by my standards, at least. Like, you could expect the Eagles to progress from their point. I, if anything, would expect the Cowboys to regress. They may have the easier schedule, but you're not going to get 40 points against every team you play. Not when you rank 24th in yards per pass. Yards per play is probably the one metric you want to look at if you want to gauge a team's success, really. Whether it's yards per pass, yards per play, their expected yards per pass, all of those metrics to define how aggressive the team's playing. If you are the Dallas Cowboys and you rank 20th there, and you've got 40 points, it's not sustainable because they don't correlate. They're not moving the ball down the field like the Bills and the Chiefs. They're not pushing it, even like a team like the Raiders have been trying to do. They're just pootling along, just checking it down. Very Sam Bradford-esque, not a care in the world. Oh, Zach Wilson's giving it back to us. Oh, Danny Jones has thrown it over there. Oh, we've got the ball again. It's hard not to capitalise. So I've seen nothing through 2 weeks of Cowboys football that have made me even remotely optimistic, positive about them. If anything, and I will be 100% honest when I say this, if I was to pick one team that isn't the Eagles to win the NFC East this year, it's Washington. I've seen way more reasons to get excited about a guy like Sam Howell and a new look offense and a refreshing coaching change and a new approach and a revamped backfield and receivers that are making plays, a defense that has an identity. That's a team that's taken a step forward. The Cowboys are a mess that have just lucked into two very convincing looking wins on the surface. So we'll end that conversation there. I appreciate you. Let's see, you notice did you notice in week one where I did the purple one? I'll see if I've got one. There, I'll see if I can dig out a week one picture. Probably like the thumbnail. It'll be one from the other day, won't it? Let me have a look. Bear with me. So you know I'm just probably there like that, aren't I, in the camera trying to find this yeah, here we go. All right. So this is one from, I'm trying to do it. There is a scheme. There is like a theme. Graphic design is my passion meme. It's not as vibrant, and I know the Kirk graphics are a bit muddied, but you can see the purple. You can see the purple. There should be a green there. I messed it up, but it's okay. That's fine. There we go. You only get, half-assed graphics that look semi-pretty on PSN. That's all I'm saying here. But there we go, we're back. That's why the offense needs to get going. The talent is there, but it's looking like the players themselves are holding us back. Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. I mean, the Eagles are going to hit a point realistically at some stage where that offense is expected to play like the unit it is. I would say that there's nothing wrong with the defense. There's no concern through 2 weeks for me defensively. I think Sean Desai, given the fact he's had half a unit, let's frame it this way. If the Eagles had gone into week 2 without AJ Brown, without Landon Dickerson, and without Dallas Goedert, would you have expected the Eagles offense to put up the points they did against Minnesota? The answer would be no. If the Eagles defense goes into a game without Reed Blankenship, without Nakobe Dean, and without James Bradbury, would you expect them to hold the Vikings offense to the points they did? The answer would be no, but they did. Sean Desai for me is having the much better season. There are reasons to be concerned with the offense because that group is too good to be lagging the way it is. Whether it's on Brian Johnson play calling, whether it is... I mean, we can make the argument that the players aren't as good, but their importance to the team still stands. Nakobe Dean should be the heart and soul of that team. Whether he's good or not, they've chosen to be a starting Mike linebacker, right? James Bradbury's an all-pro corner, and Reed Blankenship's your starting safety. Like, if he wasn't as good, they would have gone out and tried to get someone. Cam Akers has gone to the Vikings. That's a trade. That's interesting for all of 2 minutes. But he was played the Vikings now, so oh no. But yeah, I think that's how I'm kind of viewing it, is that the offense has a lot more potential to reach. I don't agree with what Colin Cowherd said, was it earlier or yesterday, that this is a run-first team with a power-running quarterback. Like, let's not get silly, okay? Let's not pretend that this is just a prime, army-level offense from college. No team can play without their offensive studs. Yes and no. I mean, you can look at the Chiefs in week 1 and you can say, well, that's prime example of it. But I think you can look at the Eagles in 2017. Like, when they're all dead. They're all just, on IR. Most of your starters, Like, it can be done. It's not so much, I think, the Jimmys and the Joes as much as it is the X's and the O's. All right, I think this is very much a scheme thing. I think for now, it wouldn't matter who you've got in that offense. That the play calling isn't flexible enough. It's not breathing enough to let these players play to their strengths. I don't think. There was a phase in week 1 where AJ Brown became prime Megatron and was just beating everyone underneath and was catching everything. There was a point in week 2 where Jalen Hurts caught fire. There was a point in week 2 where Devontae Smith looked like one of the best receivers in the NFL, but it's not consistent enough because it feels like it's changing. It feels like Sirianni's approach of riding the hot hand applies across the board to everything. If passing to the left works, we're going over there. Incomplete, we're going right now. Running the ball, yeah, run the ball. Tight end. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem sustainable for now. And whether it's Brian Johnson, whether it's execution, whether it's a myriad of the two, I don't know. We will see in due course. We will see for sure. But for now, the main point of this was that the Cowboys aren't as good as they look. The Eagles are better than they look. And that's a good spot to be in. Both teams are 2-0. I still think the main threat in this division is Washington. And it would not surprise me if Washington came out and maybe put up an 8, 9, 10 win season. I think they're that good. What's good, Eric? Nice to see you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. And I did miss Mark's comment. Bless him. I know I had the wrong link. I think I can't even pin it. Oh, there it is. He's late, but he's here. I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you for hanging out. I didn't want to not pin your comment. I felt mean. All right, let's have a little break. Instead of a break, I'm going to have a sip of water, play my intro video, and then we're going to talk about free agents I think the Eagles should sign. If you read my article today, well, that's ruined. So if you haven't read it, don't read it in the next 30 seconds. We're going to go over 4 names. There is a 5th, but no. If you know what I mean, no. Like I don't want the Eagles to sign him. And the funny enough, it's the one player the Eagles have worked out. So there's that. I don't want them to sign William Jackson. He's coming off of a bulging disc in his back. If I had a bulging disc in my back, the last thing I'd be wanting to do is playing football like a month later or a year later. It just wouldn't happen. Was a great first round pick. Never lived up to expectations when he went to Washington. Wasn't very good. And then got injured. So I'm not really sold on the fact that they're bringing him in. It feels very odd. I would back my guy from yesterday, and we'll go over that again in just a second. But I'm glad you guys are vibing. I'm going to quickly grab a sip of drink, and I'll be back in about 27 seconds, I reckon. Hi, we're back. There you go, 27 seconds. We love to see it. Let's talk free agents then, really quickly. Do the Eagles need to sign a free agent? No. Should they sign a free agent? I wish I was grabbing a quick pint, but I'm not. Eric has become my favourite person ever. He knows. Love to see it. I'm a big CM Punk fan. I got to see him at Wembley. I'm happy. Like, he got fired the day after I saw him wrestle live. Like, he was my... It's really weird. So my girlfriend's not a wrestling fan at all. Like, she despises it. And trying to make her understand why I cared so much about, like, my mental health pretty much depends on CM Punk as a 28-year-old man. And it did since like 2014 when he left, you know, and you're just hoping he comes back. And you come to AEW, you have like the best, that's probably up there with like the second best sporting moment I've ever seen. Like, outside of Super Bowl 52, it even beats, I would say, the Charlton promotion, the 90th minute goal at Wembley. Just having CM Punk come back was like euphoric. Getting to see him wrestle in person. Like, I used to listen to like the cult of personality walking into work every day, like in my headphones. Because like, you know, it's just that it's the first role model I had, you know. I'm a kid, parents got divorced, that was the role model that I assumed. Probably wouldn't have PSM without CM Punk. So I'm a big it's just meant to be like a CM Punk love story, but for better or worse, I love that man. What about John Cena? I can't see him. He might be in my flat. That might be why it's haunted. It might be why the first stream died. I don't know. Let's talk free agents then. Let's go, because yeah, I put an article out yesterday. Weirdly enough, like, it blew up. I wasn't expecting that at all. But the article I put on Bryce Callahan that went out yesterday really caught fire. So thank you to anyone that did read it. I hope the Eagles do something with it now, because I will look like an absolute genius for the first time in my life, and I need that. But in case they don't sign Bryce Callahan, I did some scouring to try and find some other free agents that may fit the criteria of Sean Desai's defense. I'm in two minds about whether or not they should sign one or not. Half of me thinks, like, you've got enough young players there. Like, you've done well to kind of build this long-term vision where a guy like Reed Blankenship can earn his snaps over time. A guy like Nakobe Dean can assume the mic role. But you know, the secondary speaks for itself. Josh Jobe, Eli Ricks, Keely Ringo. There are so many guys there that are all worthy of playing time. I just don't know with a schedule this tough and the other weaknesses that correlate with that position, if it's just asking too much. And we've seen it before. We saw it with Rasul Douglas. We saw it with Jalen Mills. We saw it with Sidney Jones, where the guys that maybe are expected to play aren't ready. And these guys are maybe a level or two below that outside of Ringo that are undrafted or very, very minimal experience. So I don't know. I feel like in the event that Darius Slay or James Bradbury go down long term or even mid or short term for that matter, it's going to be a real strain. A real strain where we go back again to the level of receivers that this team is going to be playing. So I don't know where we view the Eagles in the free agent realm at the minute. But I have came up with a few. We'll get to it in a minute. I'll quickly address your comments and we'll go through the list. Cheerio, pipe bomb super chat for my guy Liam. Love it. Love that. Yeah, dude, yeah. Scott Hall, yeah, it was a little bit before my time. I'm only 28, so I kind of got interested in my first ever match I watched was John Cena, JBL, Judgment Day 2005, I Quit match. And I was like, what is this? Like, it was just sensory overload. And ever since then, it was a spiraling. And then I kind of fell out of love when CM Punk left. I started watching AEW when the rumors that he was going to join sparked up. I was like, oh, what is this AEW stuff? And then I became All Elite, and that was the end of it. And I've been diehard ever since. But I agree with K1. We do need a guy who can play special teams. Okay, Casey Yang says something interesting. Thank you for tuning in, Casey. I've not seen your name before. So if you're a first-time viewer, I love you. If you're not a first-time viewer, I love you anyway. Not read any less. What are the odds they bring back Greedy Williams and move Bradbury into the slot? I don't know about Greedy Williams, but I like the thinking. I do like the thinking. And this is what we spoke about in yesterday's Monday's show for those that tuned in, is that realistically, it is going to be James Bradbury that moves inside, I think, because he's the guy that cross-trained there in the summer. I think he had some preseason reps there. He was definitely working there throughout training camp. And it just makes sense. But the issue is, if I can find the image very quickly that I made, another sexy graphic for K1 to get excited about. I have found it. This is going to look smooth. These are the Z receivers that the Eagles are going to be playing for the remainder of 2023. So that's a lot of pressure. If you are going to move James Bradbury inside, that is a lot of pressure. Chris Godwin is this week. Dotson is having a great year. Alan Lazard isn't brilliant, but he's serviceable. Brandon Cooks can sting. Gabe Davis can sting. Jalen Waddle is basically Devontae Smith, and Jawan Jennings is all right. That's a lot to handle. We know that, again, we established. CeeDee Lamb moves around a lot. Michael Gallup can move around a lot. Like, there are pieces even in the division. Like, Jalen Hyatt is going to be a problem for the New York Giants. I mean, he actually woke up in their Week 2 matchup. So if they move James Bradbury inside, you are giving whoever it is, be it Goodrich, be it Joe, be it Ricks, be it Ringo, that's their assignment. And that's a lot to handle. So I would rather keep Bradbury outside and sign a slot corner purely for that reason. But if they do move Bradbury, they're going to need someone that can hold the boundary as well. At least it's tall enough and quick enough to do so. I appreciate you. No problem, Casey. You're a star. Absolute MVP. I appreciate the support. But this goes very nice into my piece today about signings the Eagles could make. The first free agent I would target should come as a surprise to absolutely no one. Captain Cre'Von LeBlanc, my captain. Look, I started the Captain Cre'Von movement, all right? One semi-drunken Monday Night Football, Cre'Von LeBlanc made plays after I made the film room on him, and I got excited. I was hornier than a buzzy bee buzzing around, okay? It was just remarkable. And I was like, Captain Cre'Von, I love you. This carried on for about a month. About a month later, his mum followed me on Twitter. He followed me on Twitter, and we've been best mates ever since. So somehow he's not unfollowed me, and there's been a lot of chaos on my Twitter, so I respect him for that. Didn't reach back to me. I probably messaged him about 4 times asking for an interview. Never replied, but what can you do? Beggars can't be choosers. He's playing hard to get. Realistically, Strap isn't the best cornerback in the NFL, as much as it pains me to admit that, okay? However, if you needed even more evidence that you want this man on your team, he also overlapped with Sean Desai in Chicago. So Desai's familiar. I believe he was a quality control coach when LeBlanc was first there as a UDFA. I think he spent 2 years there. Was it 2017 to 2018? No, it wasn't. 2016 to 2017. Then was with Detroit, then joined the Eagles. So there was an overlap there, which is great. then he goes on this like incredible run. He was signed originally to replace Devontae Maddox anyway, so the team are more than familiar. Then they give him a contract extension, but he got injured. I'm pretty sure he did his ankle or something like that, and they kept him on regardless, which I thought was a very nice thing. He couldn't quite make the roster in the end. He ended up bouncing around a few NFL teams. I think the Raiders were one. And then this past offseason, he goes into the XFL and he wins the championship game with an interception in the clutch. This isn't the first time he's done it. We all remember the Saints game in 2018, that incredible interception there. A lot can change, especially at skill positions between 2018 and 2023. How many good receivers or good corners in 2018 are still knocking around the NFL now? How many good corners can you name from 2018 that are on starting level teams? Darius Slay 1, Patrick Peterson 2, probably about it. So there's reason to believe there will be a step back, regression. But NFL teams will love the fact that he did go to the XFL and did prove his worth. So he's gone on Twitter. He said he likes the Eagles fan. He said he wants to play for Philadelphia, that he loves the fan base. His mum loves me. Cre'Von loves me. We're basically one DM away from having fish and chips. Cre'Von, if you're watching, just hit me up. We can sort this out, I promise. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It wouldn't be the best move in the world. Wouldn't be the worst move in the world. So maybe send flowers to Strap and makeup. Maybe we should. Maybe we should. Captain Cre'Von is a pirate's life for me. It absolutely is. Liam can make everyone's day by doing an LA Knight impression. Yeah! I tell you what, at Wembley, it was good seeing so many people just go, yeah, for no reason. I loved it. It is everyday vocabulary. It's just there. It is a nightmare. Another guy we'll look at then. We'll get to some of your comments in a minute. We spoke about him yesterday. I'll quickly fly through for anyone that's new or might have missed it. Get this man in midnight green or I will headbutt my table. This isn't a joke. This isn't a drill. Howie, I know you watch these streams, you naughty little devil, okay? I know you do. We've been here before. How many times have I recommended a player and then you just sign them because you love me, because I'm British, and you think it's racist if you don't? All right? Do it now for Britain. In honour of Queen Liz. In honour of Queen Liz, sign this man. He's played for 6 years under Vic Fangio. In total, the Eagles are besotted with Vic Fangio. He played last year for the Chargers and was not great. He was good. All right, but 3 picks, 6 passes defense. If you can get that from an off-the-street signing, you would take it in a heartbeat. You would take it in an absolute heartbeat. So that's my pick. Doesn't matter who else is out there. Get him in. And he can play outside. He's 6'3". He can play inside. He's been perennially a slot corner for most of his time. Get him in midnight green. That's the guy. If you want someone else, we're going to move into a couple of linebackers that we've got, though. This little man. I say little, like he wouldn't, decapitate me. Nick Kwiatkowski. Nick, we're going to call him. Nicky K. Another Sean Desai overlap. This wasn't intentional, but it sort of was. Somehow didn't make the Steelers roster this year. I think he looked really good in the first preseason game. I remember watching, I watched it. I bet on it with the Steelers defense, and he was quite good against the Bucs in DraftKings. He's been good. I think his best season was, I want to say 2019 off the top of my head, but I might be wrong. But he had his best years under Sean Desai. He was on the team at the same time as Nicholas Morrow. They already have Nicholas Morrow. Like, if you get both of them in there, I don't know, it might work, okay? I'm not a genius, but, it can't be any worse, can it? Like, if Morrow struggles, you've got someone else, again, that knows the scheme, knows the system, knows the coordinator, knows a couple of the players from previous experience. Like, that counts for a lot if you're going to get an off-the-street free agent. If he's healthy, I don't know. I know he had an injury, a light injury, at the beginning of the preseason, and then the Steelers only kept 4 linebackers. So I don't really know if it was a Steelers thing or a Nicky K thing, but I wouldn't be against it. At least working him out, see how quick he can run, sort of thing, And then finally, this is going to piss off a lot of people, I think. Kyle Van Noy. Yeah, there isn't really much I can say to redeem it, other than the fact that he is was a great linebacker. He's now probably a good one. He was also on the same Chargers team last year as Bryce Callahan. So watching those two together in all 22 was great joy. I'd love to see it back. There was something about the Chargers defense. I don't know what it is. It is fun to watch. Maybe it's just they play in blue. I don't know, but it is fun and the players look all right. The good thing with Van Noy is he can play inside and outside. So if there is a point where Nolan Smith goes down, for instance, he can rush the passer from a stand-up position. He can rush from an off-ball position. He's proven to be proficient at getting behind the line of scrimmage, and he's got the instincts to back down passes. Like, he's not great in pass coverage, but he's certainly not terrible. And just from a leadership perspective, it's not the worst play you can make in the world, is it? You know, it just isn't. So those are the guys that I'll be targeting if we're going to be looking at free agents. I still think Bryce Callahan is the guy. That makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. I don't understand why they don't. If he doesn't come in, it will wind me up. This will wind me up more than a loss. If they got blown out by the Bucs on Monday night, and I'm sat there watching it at 6 a.m. with one eye open and coffee all over my chest, not signing Bryce Callahan would wind me up more. I wish I was joking. I want to wake up tomorrow to a notification from Ian Rappaport saying that Bryce Callahan is a Philadelphia Eagle. And if he's not, we're going to have problems, sunshine. That much is clear. I keep my promises. So there we are. God, look at that. Look at that. Now, that comment's going to distract from my information giving you. Look, so now I'm going to go on about a 5-minute conversation about my graphics. But I'm impressed with that. Look, I worked almost hard on those graphics. If I'd have worked as hard on the graphics, if I'd have worked as hard on, scheduling the stream properly, we might have 20 viewers now. But the game's the game. And the 11 ones in here are the real ones. The BFFLs, the people I would die for. Also, before I get to some of your comments here, we are going to try something. Okay, let me throw an idea to you. Let's go this way. Hypothetically, if there was a way we could set up an event in Philadelphia or a surrounding area, like at a bar for a game, like a watch along, and it was free to attend, and you got cool stuff, but all you had to do was sign up to a sports book as entry to get a shirt to get signed by a player, for instance, would you be interested? We've been throwing ideas around, okay, me and some important people, and we're we want to put stuff on, and we want to try and just see what's out there, we don't want people to spend money. So how can we then still make enough money to put the thing on and get these draws and players and events and autographs and jerseys and prizes and whatever? Would we? Do you know what I'm saying? What in my idea, right? I brought this up. So if anyone else steals it, no, I can't say it on stream. Someone's going to nick it, and someone from Jackib Media or all Philly knobheads are going to steal it, and that's not fun. But all I'm saying is, if there was an exclusive club that was free, okay, and once a month you got something, okay, and all you had to do to be part of this exclusive club was once a month sign up to something we give you for free, and instead of paying for an event or paying entry or paying for drinks or something, if we could get you free drinks at a bar all night and you just turn up because you do something for us, is that a better way? That's what we're trying to figure out, okay? And if I can get some rough feelers, all I'm saying is me, plain, America, cuddles, beers, the boys. Sounds like a bait. There's no bait into it. No. We're not that. No. I'm what I'm saying. So I can't reveal too much, but all I'm saying is if we as PSN can host stuff, and instead of again getting you to pay entry or whatever, we can just make it free for everyone, but there'll just be really insane stuff there. But for us to make money is we get obviously we make money from referrals and stuff, so we can find ways to monetize that to get you entry into this. We can pay for the cool stuff and there. So if we can make it free, will Phil from the Breakfast Show come? I hope so. Depends if he's going to beat me up by then or not. Let's have a look. I'll get to some of your comments, but I wanted to float that out there and see what we said. For the sake of Kate and Harry, sign this washed-up cornerback. That is the spirit. K1 is he's trying to win MVP of the year, isn't he? He remembers the PSN awards. He wants to win Fan of the Year, and he's going the right way about it. I'm 2-0 ATM, looking to shake things up to keep me there. Is this fantasy? Because I'm 1-1 in the PSN fantasy. And I tell you what, is Liam in for a good run? Because his team is absolutely sublime. Okay, I'll run through. I'm a happy man. I'm elated with my team. Okay, this is my team. Desmond Ridder. Don't mock it. I see where you're going. Leave him alone. The Riddler. All right, Desmond Tutu is going to run riot this year. When he gets cooking, he's not my primary quarterback. He's just starting this week. He plays the Lions and they're terrible defensively. But by the by, Tony Pollard, Jerome Ford, who had the foresight to get Jerome Ford in like round 13. Eh? This guy. Right. Garrett, sorry, that's not mean to Nick Chubb. I'm just happy I've got Jerome Ford. Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, Evan Ingram, that Nakua guy from the Rams, Nico Collins, Koo from the Falcons, the Pats defense. Then on the bench for this week, Trevor Lawrence, Rashawn Johnson, Breece Hall, Treylon Burks, and Okonkwo. Tell me that is not a championship fantasy team for a guy in a 14-team league that drafted 14th. We're going up. The Reds are going up. PSN, it's gone. The league's done. Although I will say Philly's 2-0 and is absolutely destroying everyone in his path, and it's terrifying. So if you are in Phil's trading in the AM, the breakfast show, just tell him to stop beating everyone in fantasy. I think I'll play in week 5. That is going to be one hell of a matchup. Let Miles Jack come out of retirement. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's clearly enjoying. Is it plumbing? I want to say plumbing. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm pretty sure he literally quit to start plumbing, didn't he? Happy to help. Just don't blame me if you lose this week. Haley, we strap. We do need strap. We need Cre'Von back. I'd die for that man. Honestly, I would die for that man. He's just perfect in every single way. And his mum loves me. I've never known athletes. I tell a lie. Some athletes' families really following their son's or daughters, whoever's progress. And it's really wholesome. But I've never seen one get actively involved with a nickname and a pirate hat and a shit picture and start retweeting it. That was cool. So Mama LeBlanc is MVP. You can take, Darius Slay's wife and say she's great, but Mama LeBlanc was next level. Not like that, just in terms of being nice and friendly and interacting. We're going to move on before we dig a hole and that gets taken out of context. I pick up Ford on waivers. I got the all-time waiver team. I literally did. I was just there. I had 3 or 4 different spreadsheets open because I'm that guy. I love a spreadsheet. I'm a football manager guy. It was a terrific day at the office. I'll tell you that. It was a terrific day. Just watching all the guys I wanted fall one by one. Okonkwo annoyed me. I thought he'd go a lot earlier. And then he laid a dud in the opener. But then I've got Evan Ingram, so I don't really care because, go either. That's a smashing good lineup. You're a smashing good fellow, Eric. What a man. I'd be chuffed to bits. Do you talk about your significant other like you talk about Cre'Von? No, I think I talk about Cre'Von better, to be honest. And she'd hate me saying it. Unfortunately, no one can compare to Cre'Von LeBlanc to me other than Sam Bradford. He will always be the apple of my eye, for better or worse. I don't know why. Does anyone have a player, genuinely, a random NFL player that whether it's an obsession or they just root for or they love, and you can't put a thing on why, you don't know when it started or how it started, but you just are a fan and you root for them. I've got a few, none are as extreme as Sam Bradford, but Andy Isabella, I loved coming out of college, along with Devin Duvernay. They're both the same year. Duvernay did much better. They did much, much better. But yeah, Sam Bradford was the one that, oh man, he should have stayed in the league. Could have been a Super Bowl winner. Ah, well, another universe, eh? Of course, Nathan Peter. Yeah, all right, fairs. Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone, unless that's sarcasm, in which case it's even better. But yeah, please don't say I'm the only one with a weird NFL player that I love. I mean, Nate Peter was almost fun to root because didn't he have that one spell where he was prime Josh Allen for 2 weeks? I swear it was week 13 a few years ago. I just remember him absolutely dealing. Oh, that one hurts. I did have Nakua on the bench. Is it Nakua? I don't want to say it wrong, but That one. He was on the bench for me as well. Yeah, I like my lineup. We're good. I can tell you who's in Phil's lineup. I'm not sure he's gone over his. I never take fantasy that seriously. This year I am, because I realise there's money involved. And I like winning things because I am a gambling problem man. Anyway, Phil's got Dak Prescott, Jamal Williams, Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Mark Andrews, Jerry Jeudy, Mike Evans, Nick Folk, and the Dallas Cowboys defense. And on the bench, Sam J. Perine, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Allen Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. I think I've got the better bench. He's got the better lineup. I think I've got the better bench. No, sorry. I've got the better lineup. I've got the better bench. He's got the better lineup. That was what I said a minute ago. I am tired. This is not ending well. Nachua. Okay, it is Nachua. Cool. Cam Johnson is my king. Yeah, I miss that, man. I mean, that's probably the worst move Howie Roseman's made in the past, 3 years. But do you know what? If that is the worst thing that he's done, he's doing all right, isn't he? If the worst thing Howie's done in 5 years is not keeping a punter, he's doing all right, I would say. Don't tell Phil. Phil is a closet. Whoa. Okay, right. Well, let's just... Please beat Phil. He thinks he's fantasy football. Look, I'll do all I can. I play in week 5. He's 2-0. He's got a hell of a team, I think. But I think it's quite volatile. There are weeks where, Deebo Samuel can just disappear. Jerry Judy's sporadic. Who else has he got in there? CeeDee Lamb. Okay, Bijan's great. Jamal Williams is all right. Dak can be a variable. Sam J. Perine, mid. Devin Singletary, I love him, but mid. Zach Moss, mid. He's just got a group of backup running backs. My depth, my bench depth is tremendous. Again, I'll remind you, is on my bench. Where is it? My bench. Trevor Lawrence is obviously fine. But Rashawn Johnson, all right, fair. Breece Hall on the bench. That's what we're doing in my lineup, all right? It's 5 stars and above. We don't take scrubs, all right? We don't take bums. It is stars and above. Breece Hall's on the bench. Treylon Burks, bench. WR1. Okonkwo, probably where he belongs on the bench. But regardless, that's a good lineup. I've got another fantasy lineup just with a few mates. I'm 2-0 in that one as well. And this is near enough the same lineup. I've got 5 of the same players. Desmond Ridder, Jameer Gibbs, Mattison, Jefferson, Drake London, Pat Freiermuth, Treylon Burks, the Saints, Jake Elliott, Rashad Bateman, Greg Dulcich, Isaiah Likely, Bryce Young, Tyjae Spears, and Romeo Deebs. Not as good, but I prefer the other one where I'm winning money. I put more effort in, you know. My lineup's QB Hurts, nice. Wide receivers Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. That, if you stack them in the right week, will be absolutely game breaking. If one of them isn't firing on all cylinders, it can be devastating. I like the aggressiveness, though. I do love the aggressiveness, especially in a PPR league where, Hurts is spreading the ball around beautifully. They've got the exact same amount of receptions through 2 weeks. So, I love that. Cortland Sutton, I love. Bijan Robinson, I love. Jones and Miles Sanders. Okay. I like Sanders. Sanders works. I mean, the only concern I've got with Sanders is just that, everything I was concerned with him in Philly. But from a fantasy perspective, he should get more carries in Carolina reliably than he did in Philadelphia, even with Hubbard behind him. Hunter Henry's nice. Nico Collins is brilliant. I think he is the steal of the NFL fantasy draft year for me. Waller, Kittle, Goff, Jamal Williams, and Johnson on IR. It's not, but it's a good lineup. There's a lot of variety there. I'm the same with Miles. I think but it depends what you can get. That's the thing. I almost took him. I think I play him in DFS formats because I think he's good for that. But yeah, it depends, doesn't it? If you're playing him as a flex, I'd probably look for maybe a wide receiver one that's on someone like Nico Collins. If it becomes to start between those two on a flex, I'd start him. Realistically, I'd start Robinson and Jones. Or I don't know, if you get Jamal Williams or if you could get I'm trying to think of someone else that's the same sort of level. Well, you don't want to get Pollard, but do you know what I mean? Sanders is one of them where he's the devout lead back, and there are a lot of people that don't Like, there are a lot of committee efforts now with backfields, right? So I get it. I would, yeah, I don't know. I would see if you could trade Sanders and get like a haul for him. If you could get a real haul for him, then do it. If not, keep him. Like, there are worse running backs to have. There are a lot worse running backs to have. Like the entirety of Phil's team. No, I'm joking. Aaron Jones got me 26 in week 1. Jeez. All I'm saying is I started Brees in week 2 and it absolutely ruined me. And I would have won had I just started anyone else ever. So that's frustrating. But yeah. Yeah, Robinson is the guy. I love Bijan as a fantasy pick. Like, in DFS through 2 weeks, he's been remarkable. Yeah, what can you say more about him? The guy is just an animal. It's the first running back since Saquon where he's come out with like a certain level of hype and still been like as advertised, if not better, I would say. But yeah, there we go. I mean, that is it. We have. I'll tell you what. We'll go to 10 past because I did fumble the bag massively with the first stream and balls it up completely. And I'm not going to shortchange you guys. We don't do that in PSN, all right? It is maximum value. So if there's anything you want to talk about for the next 10 minutes, if you just want to stay on fantasy, I know you've got like a nice little community discussing fantasy teams, please let me know. If you want to talk Eagles, if there's any other Eagles questions, give me a shout. And yeah, we'll run this in. I'm not leaving. Wolf of Wall Street style. Do you have Buffalo Wild Wings? As in the actual dish or as in like the restaurant? We don't have the restaurant. We do have chicken wings though, but I don't think they're going to be as good as like from America. I just think Americans will do that a lot better. We do have Wingstop. We've got a few Wingstops, and I travelled to a city that's like a few hours away, and I had a first Wingstop, and I swear to God, I nearly orgasmed. It was incredible. But apparently, when I got excited about it and told everyone at PSN, Wingstop is like mid over there. So I was like immediately devastated because I just thought I'd like discovered what true love is. And apparently it's not even that good, which kind of sums up true love, I suppose, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, I'm a big fan of wings. So if I can get Buffalo Wild Wings, I'll be all over them. Is there any offensive moves you make? I don't know. I mean, if you could... It's hard to say. I think, like, I don't think there's anyone you can realistically, like, trade. Because on offense, like, you'd have to give out something defensively to get something offensively. Tight ends are fine. The offensive line doesn't need to be touched. The wide receivers doesn't need to be touched. Outside of, like, I don't know what Quez Watkins has done all year, other than get injured. And then Olamide Zaccheaus has somehow done even less. Even less. Like, John Hightower's had a more prolific Eagles career than that. So, I don't know. Like, there isn't... The offense is that good. There isn't that much you can change outside of adding depth. So, I mean, it's a tricky one. Kittle's on the board late. I pretty much have him for trade bait. Nice. He's a smart man. He's a smart man. Liam never takes the piss. That is true. It's all facts, no lies over here. Don't know if you touched on us signing Man and releasing Sipos, but give me your best punter scouting. I haven't watched much of Braden Mann. All I can say is that Sipos is atrocious, and I'm so glad that era is over because he did my head in. Again, I still think the biggest move, or biggest mistake Howie Roseman has ever made, outside of the obvious, is letting go Cameron Johnston, because that guy was everything. He gave such an advantage, and you now end up with Sipos just. I could have outpunted Sipos on Tuesday, Monday, whenever it was. Sunday. It was literally a Sunday. I don't know where I am anymore. But I could have outpunted Sipos. And that is not... Yes, I can outpunt Sipos. I'll beat up AJ Brown. I'll do everything. But I could... Look, AJ Brown will beat me up, but I could definitely outpunt Aaron Sipos. So Braden Mann can't be any worse, is where I'm at with it. Jets fans apparently act like he's the worst thing to ever come out of anywhere, which is hard considering they're Jets fans. So I don't really get that. But he had a better punting average than Sipos last year. So there's that, I suppose. That's my professional take on it. Who said it's mid? I'm pretty sure it was Zach or Brian. I might be wrong. I don't want to name names, but I'm pretty sure one of them was like, oh, Liam, wait till you... If you think Wingstop's good, wait till you try like X, Y, or Z. And I was like, oh, but I thought, Wingstop was like the elite. It's like the elite tier. So who knows? Have you ever punted a football? I haven't, but I would still punt it further than Sipos. Actually, I've tried. It hurts. that's my takeaway. I don't know how you kick in American football, but it hurts. I can throw a lovely little spiral about 5 yards, and that's about as far as my athletic ability goes. I can kick it about, I don't know, 20 foot in the air. Is that too high? 10 foot in the air? No. 15 foot in the air. Yeah, about 50. No, 20. I'll back myself. 20 foot. I can punt it 20 foot in the air. And it goes about 5 yards. And it really hurts. So I don't understand how you meant to kick. I know they have holders and they're at an angle so you hit the bottom so it doesn't hurt. But I don't know. I feel like it hits the bit of your foot there and it just stings. Maybe it's just me. That's why I play golf. I'm not athletic at all. JC with Swift. We don't really need a wide receiver 3. Watkins just needs to capitalise on his opportunities. Yeah, I mean, he does. Hopefully he's not, like, super injured. I don't think we've had an update on his actual status. We should have had one today. Oh, it's Monday game, isn't it? So it'll be Friday, right? Or Thursday even. Yeah, he needs to do better, but it was the same last year. My point with Quez all of last year was that this team got so good so quick that it became an elite team, and you're not going to get by with mediocrity. Like, mediocrity just isn't the bar anymore. And from 2018 to 2021, it kind of was, because the team wasn't good enough to be an elite contender. As soon as you go over that line, mediocre play drags you back. Before, mediocre play would lift you up. And Quez Watkins stretching the field for one 35-yard pass is the difference between winning by 1 and losing by 1. And now it's the difference between winning by 7 and blowing a lead or something. So it's weird. Like, as the standards go up, you can't drag those same players along. Eventually, just one by one, they will tail off. And that's the sad part of it. I don't think Quez is good enough, unfortunately. And that's, look, yes, that's coming from the guy that once championed John Hightower. I understand that. But I think he's had plenty of opportunities. He hasn't been able to do anything with any of them. And now he's got injured. So I hope that he can come back from the injury and prove us wrong. I really do, because he is a flashy upside receiver. Someone with a lot of speed that can take the top of a defense. I think Zacchaeus is the more complete wideout, though. And bringing him in to compete with Watkins, I don't think was a battle. I think that was very clear early on that, in my mind, Zacchaeus should have been the option moving forward. For some reason, he wasn't. Neither receiver has done much of anything. And we now find ourselves where Watkins is injured, potentially, and we need to see what either can do. But yeah, there we go. I suppose it's going to be an interesting season and playoffs or season and a half or so to find out. Is after this season, it's still going to be Quez Watkins' position? Are we still going to be doubling down? Because I feel like then he's gone through his entire rookie contract at that point. Is it worth bringing him back? Would you pay him money? How much money would you pay him? When you can get guys in the 5th round that can also run very quick. Like, it's not a rare thing anymore to have. 10 years ago, a Deshaun Jackson was game-breaking because there was only one Deshaun Jackson. Now the league's filled with them. In the same way that 10 years ago, there was only one Steph Curry. There was only one guy that could shoot the 3 as reliably as him. Now the league's filled with them. Like mini ones. Like, no one can do it as well as him or as reliably, sure. But you've got Joel Embiid shooting 3-pointers, for Christ's sake. Centers are coming out of college needing to shoot 3s. So speed is becoming an ever-present part of the offense. So you can find guys that are quick and you can find guys with similar level hands. I don't know if Quez makes it past this year. And if he does, it is all on the next 12, 13 games, whenever he comes back healthy, to prove us wrong. He put it on Twitter that he's going to silence all the critics or whatever it was. Do it. Shut us up. Please, I'm begging for it. I'm a loudmouth Brit with a whiny accent. Just shut me up. Go and prove you're more than a flash-in-the-pan 40-yard catch receiver. Prove you can win on 12-yard routes. Show me you can win on a curl. Show me you can absorb contact when running a slug and go. Like, whatever it is, just be what you can be. Otherwise, this offense is too good. Those receivers, Devontae, Brown, they're too good to be waiting with their hands on their hips for Quez to catch up. And that's where I'm at with Quez. That was quite a prolific rant there. I might have to clip that one. I feel quite. It's almost as good as a graphic, wasn't it? That was unplanned. I'm quite proud of that one. We'll end it there. I have tried not to kick the ball at the pointy end. I think when I first started trying to kick an American football, I had it sideways, and that would hurt as well. So I've got to work it out really. Something tells me you'll never be followed by Mrs. Quest. That's until I start dropping the Riz, K1. That's until I start dropping the game. But you know, that's only on special occasions. We have to bring the jersey down from the rafters. But my heart belongs to Lady Cre'Von and the captain himself. Laces out. Maybe I'll just do a live stream where I'm like at a park and you can show me how to kick a football. Maybe that's the content for the next like week or so. Who knows? Maybe we'll have like a charity game where I just get a bunch of friends and who knows? The sky's the limit, right? Watkins, I think, will be the type of guy to leave. Oh yeah. Oh, I've already agreed. Yeah, unfortunately. But then again, he could also just not. You know, like it's so weird. If you look at a guy like, do you know what, he's that forgettable. I've forgotten his name again. It's happened twice in about 5 streams. Oh, that's annoying me. He used to play for the Panthers. Came here after Djax. Was there in like 2018. Wide receiver 2. Forgotten his name. Him, whoever it was. Forgotten his name again. That's really annoying. It's the same guy. I hope he never watches his stream. I've actually just watched twice, and he's quite a big receiver. He's been around the NFL for years, and I've just like forgotten him, not once and been reminded, but twice. Whoever that was. No, it wasn't a van. Tory? Yes, Tory. It was Tory Smith. Yes, Tory Smith. See, everyone else remembers. I can't. He's that forgettable. Sorry, Tory Smith. You're a lovely man, I'm sure. But yeah, I feel like Quez might just tail off and turn into nothing. He could also, I mean, look at Jalen Reagor. What's Jalen Reagor done other than get cut? Like, there's not a lot there. Dorial Green back. Oh, God. Jeez, remember that. There we go. Quez feels like Matt Collins. That's the comparison. Yeah, I think if he's going to be anyone, it would be a Matt Collins where, like, give it 3-4 years later and he just pops up and starts going bang, 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 bang. And, like, just he's all over your red zone and you can't get his face off your TV and it's, like, highlight plays everywhere. That sort of thing. But yeah, Dorial Green Beckham might be the biggest waste of space the world's ever seen, though. Jesus Christ, that was a roller coaster, wasn't it? Oh, what was that? What's Jay Shaw done? Yeah, true as another one. I mean, this is the thing, though. That's a perfect example, right? If you look at Jay Shaw, Dorial Green Beckham, Matt Collins, go John Hightower. Sorry, like look at all these guys that have come in, and you now have a wide receiver core of Devontae and AJ Brown and Quez. You can see the very clear outlier. And I think Quez is much closer to that second group than he is the first. And there will be slot receivers available or draftable that have traits where they don't need to be good at everything. You really don't need to. You need to be good at 2 or 3 things to be functional in this offense. And if you can do those reliably, you'll be golden and you'll be an asset. If not, it becomes a reliability. And that, unfortunately, is where we're at with Quez Watkins. Tory was a home run hitter on the go route, and the threat of that is what made him so good. Yeah, he could catch, basically. He could catch the ball. Unlike Quez. This isn't Quez Watkins slander, okay? I'm going to have to make it. Maybe I'll make Friday's show about Quez Watkins. Maybe we'll go all in and I'll do some like statistical deep dives and whatever. Who knows? But we will end it here. That Andy Isabella is sitting on the Bills practice squad. And I'll end it with a joke, okay? Once upon a time, I had a thing with a girl called Isabel. And my mum said, Isabel who? And I told her the surname. And she went, no, Isabel Necessary on a bike. And I'll leave you with that joke. And I will see you on Friday for another episode of The Outside Insider. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I know this has been a chaotic stream because I fumbled the first one and the thumbnail has all gone wrong. I appreciate you all hanging out. Thank you to the new faces. Thank you to the old faces. You're all incredible. Hope you have an amazing couple of days. I'll see you on Friday evening to preview the Monday Night Football matchup against the Bucs and build on a couple of these topics because I'm sure we can have some fun. But guys, I will talk to you soon. Enjoy your evening. Take care. I can't find my thing again. I've done it again every time. There it is. I'll see you later. Thank you for the kind words. I love you all. Bye.